Hi there, I'm Steve Nygren, founder of Serenbe. You know, for a lot of Americans, life just isn't working the way it should. We're more stressed, anxious, and disconnected than ever. Many people feel left behind by the economy, let down by institutions they once trusted, and overwhelmed by the scale of environmental challenges. Much of this comes down to something simple: where and how we live. When we reinvest in our communities and rethink the way we build and connect with one another, we open the door to healthier, more meaningful lives, not just for ourselves, but for the future generations. That's what my book, Start in Your Own Backyard, Transforming Where You Live with Radical Common Sense, is about. It offers a practical, hopeful roadmap for creating places where people of all ages can thrive, where everyday life is infused with beauty, purpose, and connection. The book is here to spark ideas, offer guidance, and remind you that big change really can start small. Start in Your Own Backyard is available now wherever you buy books. Sometimes the most powerful thing we can do is simply begin right where we are.
On this episode of Serenbe Stories, Garni Nygren and I sit down with Jaimee Seabury to explore GreenRow's redesign of one of the inn's most iconic cottages, the Lake House. Long before this collaboration came to life, Jaimee had heard about Serenbe through her close friend and longtime collaborator, photographer Amy Nunsinger, a Nygren family cousin who, as you'll hear in this episode, helped put Serenbe weddings on the map. What began as admiration from afar eventually evolved into a partnership that feels incredibly natural, grounded in shared appreciation for thoughtful design, sustainability, hospitality, and a great connection to place. Jaimee also shares the story behind GreenRow, the sustainable home brand she launched within Williams-Sonoma after years working with brands like Shabby Chic and Anthropologie. Created to bring color, pattern, and personality into the sustainable home space, GreenRow blends beautiful vintage-inspired style with environmentally conscious materials and production practices. In this conversation, we talk about transforming the inn at Serenbe's Lake House into an immersive GreenRow experience and why the best design helps foster a stronger connection to nature and one another.
I was just so inspired walking in. When I walk into a space, I kind of feel the energy and I just get a vibe of what it could be. And it gets me really excited. So I remember I took the measurements. We were riding around in the golf cart. We went to dinner. I came back to the inn and went to sleep. And then I woke up and I was like, I have to do this right now.
Jaimee, we're thrilled to have you here today on Serenbe Stories. How are you doing?
I'm good. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. And Garni is with us as well. We want to dive into everything GreenRow and Serenbe. And I think probably starting with a little bit of your background, you're currently the VP of Business Strategy and Development for Williams-Sonoma. But GreenRow is your baby. It was your brainchild. I know they brought you in to sort of birth it. So what's that journey been like getting there up to this point?
Well, it's really been amazing. My very first job out of college was for Williams-Sonoma. I worked at Pottery Barn, and I always stayed in touch with Laura Alber, who's now the CEO. And after COVID, I think, there was so much growth in the home industry. She was always very passionate about sustainability and starting a brand from scratch. If you could do everything the right way, what would it look like? And so that's where it started. And then as a result of all the research and sort of the business plan that we put together, we found that most home furnishing brands were quite boring and neutral that were sustainable. So if you thought of sustainability, you thought of beige or raw wood, all these neutral things. And there were ways to infuse color and print and pattern into things in a natural way or a sustainable way. So that's really where it came from. And first and foremost, it's a sustainable brand. Everything we do is focused around, our core values, but it's also developed this personality out of on its own, that its own aesthetic that's different from the portfolio that's in the other Williams-Sonoma brands, but also different in the market because it gives you both the sustainability check and then this sort of fun English countryside, vintage inspired, a little bit quirky assortment of product.
Well, and you had come also from Shabby Chic years ago, right?
Hmm. Yeah,
And
Shabby Chic for 14 years and then Anthropologie before that. So
Mhm.
lots of vintage inspiration, color pattern, traveling the world, flea markets, things like that.
Once you sort of realized this was the white space you guys were going into, what was the first step, like in the sense of, you just opened your first Soho store, and what are we in year?
It's our 3-year anniversary is Thursday. Yeah, tomorrow is our
Oh
3-year
my God.
anniversary.
Happy anniversary.
Yay!
Thank you. Yeah.
And so you guys started out as an online destination. So talk a little bit about that transition and how the store how is that changing
Well,
the game?
I think it's funny. I was listening to the news this morning. I think in general, especially during COVID, everybody was online, 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 online. And, people started to shrink their retail presence and maybe not even have retail stores. But I think people are returning to stores and they want to touch and feel and have an experience. So GreenRow started out as an online brand. We had a very sustainably sourced catalog that we mailed out twice a year, but we love the product so much and people were asking, how can I touch it? How can I feel it? We did a project with Nick's Cove last year where people could go and sleep in the bed, similar to what we've done with Serenbe. And, we talked a lot and Laura said, the product is so beautiful. I want you to be able to tell the story in person. So we set out to find the perfect location and really translate all of the elements of the brand into this footprint of a store and do it in a sustainable way too. I mean, we found an old Soho space that just needed a little bit of paint. We reclaimed the floors because underneath this, vinyl floor was a beautiful old cherry wood floor that just needed a little sanding and buffing. And it's not perfect. It's got a lot of quirks to it, but we love it. And the product shows really well in that environment.
That's great. Well, and you're in a perfect location. You're right next door to, what's the company, Roman and Williams?
Yeah, the Guild and the Mercery right there. So it's become quite a design district over there. Even Canal Street, which years ago you would only go to buy a fake Gucci bag. Canal Street has William White's there, the Happier Grocer, and there's a lot of custom apparel shops and home design shops. So the whole Soho design district has changed and it's kind of moved over to where the Guild is.
Yeah, no, it's super cool. And I imagine you're getting a ton of people, flowing from one to the other. So it's a great influential group of people to see the product in person. So tell us a little bit about just moving into Serenbe and the lake house. And so, Garni manages besides all the real estate, the inn and all the hospitality. And so you guys, you and your marketing director sort of came together and were searching for another Nick's Cove kind of partnership. So tell us a little bit about that story and how you found us.
Well, I've known about you guys forever because of Amy. Amy and I have known each other for 20 years, and she always talked about Serenbe and her cousins and how much she loved it. And I've seen pictures from her wedding. And so I always thought it was so beautiful. And after we did Nick's Cove, the response was so great. And it was great not only for us, but it was great for Nick's Cove too, to kind of get this new energy in that we thought, let's reach out to some different hotels that we love and see if they would have interest in doing a project like this. And my first idea, and Kelly's was the same, with Serenbe, because I just thought it's magical. I want to go visit. I've heard about it for years. And so it just worked out. I didn't even have to use Amy as an in. I texted her, but it worked out. I think Kelly, when Kelly reached out to Monica, it just all came together.
Great. And we were like, yes. And
yeah.
Garni,
Yeah. And for anyone listening, who is Amy? Amy, yes.
Amy Nunsinger is like one of the most amazing photographers. And I've been friends with her and known her and worked with her for many, many years. She shot all of our Shabby Chic photography. She shot the first GreenRow catalog and many other photo shoots. So she's amazing. And I know she's cousin or family friend.
Yeah, she's a cousin, both a family friend, but she's family. She's a cousin. And as just a fun aside, Amy and Sean is Amy's husband, are the way that we got into the wedding business when what's now the Inn at Serenbe was
I didn't
really
know
just a bed and
that.
breakfast. So
That's so cool.
yeah, we had a 6-room, the bed and breakfast, Serenbe bed and breakfast was 6 rooms. This was 2000. Amy got married in 2001.
Yeah.
So what's now the Inn at Serenbe, we still lived like in the house. So Amy reached out and said, we don't want to get married in New York or LA. We don't want to choose one or the other. So we want to choose in between and have all the friends come to both places. And we were like, great, of course, come get married on the grass, basically. She's like, oh, Martha Stewart might want to feature it because I'm shooting for Martha Stewart right now. We're like, okay. And Martha Stewart put it on the cover of Martha Stewart Weddings when that was still a magazine.
Amazing.
And overnight, as a 6-room bed and breakfast, we got into the wedding business.
Crazy, right?
Just fun aside.
Well, and now it's so big and you have like such beautiful areas for the weddings. I mean, it's amazing. But that was the best connection, I guess, for both of us.
Exactly. So that's Amy. And that was 2001.
Yeah. And so then we went to Garni and said, okay, is there a space up at the inn that might need a refresh, right? And
and we were like, actually, the lake house, what we call the lake house, it's a 4-room house and sits overlooking the 4.5-acre pond that we call lake at the inn. We're like, we've been thinking about. So this is a perfect moment and opportunity and great partnership with GreenRow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, and I hadn't known exactly how Serenbe all started. And, in reading through Steve's book and just all of the alignment we had from an environmental and sustainability standpoint too, it just became even more and more exciting. So I love the idea that we took an older property, and I found out later that it was for your grandmother, which is amazing, but that we took an older property and kind of embraced what it was and just added some color, some wallpaper, some paint, and some quirky furnishings to it to just give it a quick refresh, really. And it did go fast, actually.
Yeah, no. It was pretty quick. And it's just absolutely gorgeous. And then Amy came and shot the house again. And so we have these insane photographs as well. And it is this sort of iconic cottage, if you will, 4-bedroom cottage centered on a kitchen and living room. And you can do conferences in the sort of second dining room. And so when you guys came, what I loved is you designed everything, Jaimee, too. Like we kind of left you in the lake house.
Yeah, you left me alone for 2 hours with a tape measure, a notebook, and a plug for my phone and my laptop because I took so many photos, it kept dying. But I was just so inspired walking in. I tend to do better. I think we had sent photos before. When I walk into a space, I kind of feel the energy and I just get a vibe of what it could be. And it gets me really excited. So I remember I took the measurements. We were riding around in the golf cart. We went to dinner. I came back to the inn and went to sleep. And then I woke up and I was like, I have to do this right now. So I was like doing it at 3:00 in the morning before I got on the flight and writing everything out. And I think by the next week, I was like, you guys, I have to show you what I have, the Canva deck, because it just made so much sense we had all this great vintage inspired wallpaper and to just kind of brighten it up because the way it's built, there are some dark areas in the lake house, and just adding the lighter paint and wallpaper just really brightened the whole place up. So that sort of kicked off my ideas for wallpaper and paint. And then the furnishings just flowed sort of naturally in there.
And you guys launched your wallpaper line. So talk a little bit about that. Talk about where that comes from. And so each room is sort of named after, they're numbered for simplicity and operations, but they're named based on the wallpaper.
So each room definitely is a showcase of the wallpaper and the textiles that are associated with it. So it's a trend now called pattern drenching. So like there's the narcissus one, which are these beautiful daffodils, and it's on the curtains, the walls, the bathroom, the pillows, the chair cushion, everything's in there. We have been using wallpaper, mostly vintage wallpaper, in our photo shoots. Like I will buy it online and we build a set. And for me, the most sustainable thing to do is we just buy the wallpaper, put it on these little sheets and paste it up to the wall. And then we can reuse it and use it for other things and then reuse the set. And I get so many comments on Instagram about where is that wallpaper from? Where, well, it was I bought the last 3 rolls, or I bought the last roll, whatever it was. And I just thought, oh, maybe this is a way that we could actually translate this into product and people could do that, create this look on their own. So we found a wallpaper manufacturer based in Texas. She uses FSC paper. She agreed not to package in plastic, so she packages it in craft paper, and she uses all eco-friendly ink, and she makes it to order. So it's not like there's no waste. You order what you need and that's it. Whereas a lot of times you have to buy, full double rolls, even if you want to do just a single wall. So we're aligned on our values there too. So we thought this was like a great way to showcase it and launch it in a way where you could really see it and be immersed in all of the print and pattern.
Yeah, no, and the print and pattern is great. It's so fun to see it all, layered or drenched is super cool concept.
The drenched room is my favorite. I call it the yellow room. But like the drenched
narcissist,
the narcissist, where it's like it's like every single layer is the same pattern. It's so
great, so great, and I love the snug.
I love the snug.
It is like kind of hot pink, but it's such a palatable pink. I can't you gotta come in person and see it. That's beautiful, and just how those patterns in the upholstery show up. That color shows up again. I mean, it just was so fun. I think people were automatically, when we had a party to launch it, people were sitting in there, and really enjoying it because it does feel snuggly.
Well, and I also love that you all have brought back like changing out your couches for the season. I don't know if so when you come and stay like in the lake house, you'll see there are couches in the main living room, and those are slip covered so that you can buy multiple prints for the seasons. And that's so fun. I grew up with, my parents are in the house in Ansley Park in Midtown that we lived before we moved down to what's now the Inn. They did that. They changed the living room seasonally from summer to winter with like different covers on the couch. Cool. So it totally brought me back to like, this is so fun that your own living room can change with slipcover patterns for the season.
Yeah. Well, and it's also a way, our sofas are made with all natural materials and they're really well made. And as you know, because you've both sat in it, they're so comfortable. And what I love about the slip covers too is that you can make sometimes they get dirty or they get worn over time. You can actually make your sofa look brand new by just getting a new slipcover. And we do sell the slipcovers only. So some people in the New York store are buying 2 at once. So to your point, Garni, like you have like white linen on in the summer and maybe you throw, like a heavier plaid on in the fall.
Or you have white linen for parties, right? You have your party couches and then your everyday life. It's such a great way to like, spice it up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No, and it's a little bit like what's old is new again, right?
Yes.
And so I think a lot of that layering was kind of big maybe in the 80s, right? I feel like in traditional homes, but I love to see it kind of going, the opportunity for more people to buy it. So tell me what's been the response? So now we're 3 years in. I think you possibly have plans for more locations.
Yeah, there's one more plan for this year, and who knows, we have nothing on the books for next year, but I think if they continue to get such a positive response, we would continue to open. The response has been great. I mean, we have a lot of sort of like super fans. It's like this little following where there were people definitely pilgrimaging to the store when it opened in New York, which was super fun and cute. And I was there opening it for 2 weeks, but then there for the first few days of opening and the first weekend. So I got to see like the natural flow of people coming in. And most people said this is even more beautiful in person than it is online, which is great. And that's what you hope for. I made every single person sit in a sofa because I just want them to feel how comfortable it is. Yeah, I think I did it at the party too. So the response has been great. And we continue to try and do things to surprise people and introduce them to the brand in new ways and maybe unexpected ways. And I think this collaboration is a great example because you can literally go back and stay like several times. We've had a lot of people stay and post about it. There was the cutest little boy last night we reposted running down the hallway and on the sofa in the lake house. So I love to see people actually enjoying it too, which is really fun.
Yeah. Yeah. No, we're thrilled. And I know I probably won't be live by the time this comes out, but we're talking about doing a sweepstakes. You can win a trip to come stay at the lake house.
Yeah, I can't wait for that. I think people will go crazy.
And so, yeah, it's super fun. And we just are so thrilled that we sort of came together and this whole thing worked out. And now you've been here a few times. And we're trying to get you to move. I know you just built a house.
I know, I want to move. I love it so much.
The funny thing called work is in San Francisco. But, we'll work through that.
Yes.
Now that you've spent some time here, and besides the lake house, which definitely everybody has to come, book and stay in, what would be the thing if you're telling somebody on your team or a friend from San Francisco and they're coming to Serenbe, what should they do? What should they see?
Oh my gosh, there's so much. Well, first you have breakfast at the Blue-Eyed Daisy, and then you get on a golf cart and you just ride around. Amy showed us some more things that I didn't see last time, but just the nature, seeing the horses so close, walking through, it's amazing. Then I would go to the wellness part for the day. The alchemy, I definitely spent way more money than I expected on amazing products, and just Halsa for lunch. It's just so much to see and do. Horseback riding, just going to the farmer's market, seeing the community. Everybody just looks so happy. And I can't imagine why you wouldn't be happy living there. It's just so lovely. I love seeing the school and all the kids coming out, and Austin's for dinner, the Hill. Every place is amazing. The inn, the fried chicken at the inn on Sundays. I don't know. I've definitely had my fair share of food, but I love the farmer's market. I love all the shops. Just everything's so well thought out. So I would just get on a golf cart and ride around all day, really, and just stop and see things.
Perfect. I love it. These are all great suggestions. And we can't wait to get you to come back.
Yeah. And even conferences too. I mean, we developed, when we were putting together the lake house, we wanted to be mindful of people having meetings. So that's why we have extra chairs for the table and the dining room extends. But I think, for a company like Williams-Sonoma or other companies to have corporate retreats there too, it's just you feel like you're in a different world in a way, because it's so magical and quiet and pristine that I feel like it's a perfect place for people to go and get away from the hustle and bustle of every day and really, have thought-provoking conversations and productive meetings for sure.
Yeah. And then after the party that we had there, there were a bunch of residents and they were like, wait, can we rent this? And we're like, yes, you can do this event. You can do a cocktail party here and have your out of town friends stay. And so it sort of opened people's kind of eyes to how to use the space up there in a different way. We go up and we eat at the farmhouse, but we're not usually frequenting, because we already have houses here, frequenting the inn. So it was another opportunity to sort of draw people in and give them a reason to sort of check it out. So we love the partnership. We're so excited and just thrilled to have you in our orbit.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Thank you so much for giving us the opportunity to do this and being such great partners. I have to say, literally every single person that I worked with on this project, down to the woman who was cleaning the house for us every day when we were shooting, making sure it looks, everyone takes such pride and care in what they're doing there. And they're so passionate about the community. You really feel such a sense of community there. And I feel like that's what we're trying to develop in GreenRow, is this sense of community and awareness and values that bring us all together. So it was such a match for us to come together.
Well, we love that. Thank you. Biggest compliment ever. Thanks so much, Jaimee.
Thanks, Jaimee.
We'll see you soon.
Thank you. Yes,
Bye.
see you soon. Bye.
The Inn at Serenbe is a luxury retreat tucked away in the rolling countryside just outside Atlanta and just minutes from Hartsfield-Jackson Airport. With over 1,000 acres to explore, you'll find preserved forests, a wildflower meadow, and over 15 miles of scenic hiking trails. Whether you're exploring the animal village, lounging by the pool, or enjoying a fresh farm-to-table meal, there's no shortage of ways to unwind at the Inn at Serenbe. Use code Serenbe Stories when you book online or over the phone and receive 10% off your next stay. The Inn at Serenbe offers endless ways to connect with nature and create unforgettable memories, so book today.